Hey everybody, Tom Barnes, Stories from the 70s, and Happy New Year to you and to everybody. You know, New Year's can be daunting for some, and some it's very exciting. Either way, a lot of change is happening in 2023 for a lot of us. Either want to change the way we eat, the way we sit, our mental health maybe. We want to take care of ourselves. And I thought I'd bring in an expert to help me understand some of the things that we should remember when taking care of ourselves. Erica Hornthal, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing wonderfully. You're a psychotherapist here at the Chicago Dance Therapy, right?
Yep.
So what's that, first of all, so we get that taken care of, and then we can move into how we can be better understanding our body.
Sure. So dance therapy is a niche form of psychotherapy that really centers the body and movement with regard to changing anything mind, right? If we want to change things about ourselves, we really have to look at the way we move and show up in our bodies. So we're working on that mind-body connection, and sometimes dancing, sometimes just moving and changing the way we posture.
Right, something as simple as just not crossing your legs a certain way. If you sit a certain way all the time and sitting a different way can really just, it's almost like opening up little vessels in your thoughts of different ways to think about things. And I think that coincides with like eating habits. You know, a lot of eating habits are associated with other thoughts or the way that we do things. And that's what you kind of want to help people understand as they move into 2023 with New Year resolutions, you know, right?
Yes. So a lot of it is autopilot. We operate on autopilot, right? Our brains want comfort and safety. And so when we're looking to change our behaviors, we really have to challenge the way we show up, especially with regard to autopilot. So if you're having difficulty changing your mind or working on a positive mindset, often going into the body and noticing how we move around those thoughts, changing that up, can be the missing link.
So give me a specific example. Let's say if somebody is, you know, they want to cut out eating chips and they always do it at work, you know, so they sit down at their desk, they're eating a bag of chips as they work. They don't even realize by the end of the week, they're eating 7 bags of chips, you know,
Right.
not the snack size ones, but
Right.
still.
Well, hey, I think we've all been there, right?
Yeah.
So, well, you know, as cliche as it is, it comes down to awareness. And the thing is, we're all so much on autopilot all the time, right? We're scrolling aimlessly. We do things without consciousness. So we want to make sure that we're paying attention and being aware of what we're doing. And sometimes that actually means setting a reminder, right? So we all, I don't want to say all, generally, we all have a device or a phone. Set a reminder that actually tells you to ask, how am I moving right now? What am I doing? Because you might notice you're eating that bag of chips and not even remember going up and getting it, right? Or reaching for it, because we're just so conditioned to do certain habits.
And that's what you're talking about, really recognizing. It's almost like when people say calorie count, not that, but that granular level of detail of trying to remember, like, how did I even like get here? Like, what causes me to crave the bag of
Right.
chips?
It's intention, it's interrupting our habits, right? So actually sometimes it's just pausing, which we all have trouble doing, right? It's taking a break, especially for our mental health, it's so important. So at the beginning of the year, so much intention and focus is usually on exercise and physicality. And I just think it's so important that people recognize mind and body are needed to make changes.
So what other things can people focus on for the mind part that will benefit the body?
Yeah, or vice versa, right?
Sure, yeah.
So in addition to being aware of how we're moving, right, I think doing it with other people, right? Realizing that it doesn't have to be exercise, right? We can look at our hobbies, things that we enjoy doing, like cooking. Some of us may enjoy cleaning or tidying up. These are all ways that we move that actually also release endorphins or release feel-good chemicals. So look at the movement you're already doing and expand upon that and ease into it. Our tendency is to jump into the deep end, right? If I haven't been in the gym for years, why would I go 5 days a week? That just feels really overwhelming to me.
Right.
So small movements, small changes make big, big changes over time. So ease yourself into these things and be compassionate and gentle with your new habits.
With yourself.
With yourself
Yeah.
as you're engaging in these new habits.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think the best example you just gave was that when people start off at the gym, you know, and they go 5 days a week come January 1st, and then they like do it for a week and a half, and then they're barely going by February. That you mean that for anything related to new health patterns, physically or mentally, correct?
Yes, yes. It takes a while to create a new habit. And what most people don't understand is that you really have to integrate the mind and the body for that new habit. So just thinking it isn't going to be enough. Just acting it isn't going to be enough. We really want the integration of the two. So looking at how we move when we think a certain way, changing that up. I always say challenging the way we're moving, right? So that could be shifting your posture in your chair at work. It could be literally standing up and taking a stretch break, or when the weather permits, taking a breath of fresh air and just changing up your environment. These are all things that interrupt that autopilot and spark the synapses in our brain so that they start firing and we get more focus, attention, and productivity.
So it sounds like it's so vital to just break the monotony. So even for people who are they're off because it's the end of the year or the first of the year, the first month of the year, they might have vacation where they're off and they're just like aimlessly watching videos on streaming.
I might be
where
one of
it's
those
like
people.
7 hours a day. But which is great, everybody wants to do it, but all of a sudden in that 7 hours you might be having those bad habits without even noticing that you're doing it, I should say. So you're saying like make a habit, like even they have like, I think Apple Watches have little reminders where it will tell you to get up
Right.
and walk and do that.
Right.
Like that, you're saying pay attention to those things when you're in the process of shifting the way that you want to think about your mental health and your any kind of diet or exercise routine. All that goes inside it. You can't have the same bad habits with all the new habits you're trying to do.
Right. Well, and we tend to do this all or nothing, right? This
Right.
binary
Yeah.
thinking of like, I was doing something bad, so now I'm going to do something good. And again, taking the judgment out of it and just trying something out of the norm, right? Getting ourselves out of that autopilot. So when you're saying like sitting on the couch and watching something for 7 hours, I mean, we joke, but we do that, right? So this idea of like binging something, right? It's that instant gratification. It's doing it all at one time. We really have to rework that association we have and slowly introduce things to ourselves. So yeah, if we need something like a device to remind us, hey, it's been a couple of hours, you might want to get up and walk around, get the blood circulating. Just pay attention to how you feel while you're watching whatever it is. Is it evoking good emotions? Is it stressing you out?
Right.
Because
If
we
it's
all
like
deserve
true
to relax.
crime stuff, it's probably
Right.
not making you feel great. It's interesting. You know, if you're binge watching the entire fifth season of like Yellowstone, it's an intense show.
Right.
So if for people who want to come see you, how can you help them get on this path?
Yeah, so I love to help people change habits and really get unstuck. And it's really just about redefining how we move, using our movement to help improve our mental health. For a lot of people, it's, they can't talk, they don't know what to say, they've run out of things to say, or they've been in talk therapy for so long, everything's been said.
Right, and it's almost redundant to do that way versus like in your office here,
Expensive for some people too.
right, you want people to feel comfortable. So either they might be sitting in the chair that's over your right shoulder there, or they can be at a spot in your office here that makes them feel comfortable. There's no wrong way for people to feel comfortable, and that's the first start for people who really need some guidance.
Right. Well, it's also about validating and supporting where we are, right? So it's not just looking at the healthy habit I'm trying to create, but really acknowledging what are my current habits and being as aware as possible in as safe a way as possible, which again is a reason for kind of showing up as you are, that you don't have to look a certain way, sit a certain way, move a certain way. It's really about uncovering your own connection, your own mind-body connection, the ways you move that are working for you, and the ones that we want to start to repattern to help build those healthy habits.
And they can do that all within this space here. It's the safe space is your space here.
Yeah.
For people who want to reach out to you, what's the best way for them to do that?
They can go to chicagodancetherapy.com. We do also offer telehealth, so people have all different reasons for coming in or staying at home. But yeah.
And it's not just dancing. Well, that makes that clear. It's
Right.
just it's a name that you use, but dancing can happen, but it's not required. Or it's about what is comfortable for people who want to come and talk about changing their habits in terms of small steps to big plans.
Correct. Dance therapy is a creative arts therapy, so it's under the umbrella of things like music therapy and art therapy, but you don't have to be an expert or a skilled artist in those avenues to benefit from the power of expressive arts for mental health.
Well, Erica, thank you very much, and Happy New Year to you, and
You
I wish you
too.
nothing but the best in 2023.
Thanks, you too.
Absolutely. All right, well, that's Erica, and I am Tom, and you can reach me at tombarnesschicago@gmail.com. Head over to the website, storiesfromthe78.com. This was a good one because it's going to help you get a nice restart and a refresh for 2023. Thank you very much, Erica. I
My
appreciate it.
pleasure. Thank you.